Hey, welcome to the 2 Hour Grind. I'm Nate, and this might actually be more than 2 hours because I'm going to be rocking and rolling, drawing some pictures today. So I've been on this Pokemon kick. I don't know why. It's just something that, it happens. I go through these like little phases of like different things. Right now, I've been drawing a bunch of Pokemon characters. So the past couple streams have been pretty rad. I've had a lot of fun. 30th anniversary hit, so I did this awesome Charizard. And he's kind of rocking some samurai armor that's made out of old Pokeballs. I kind of really want to revisit him one day. I'm not today, but I'm going to revisit his art one day coming up in the future. But I kind of had a lot of fun with him. So then I kind of stuck with that trend and was like, all right, now I'm going to do a Warrior Pikachu, but he's rocking like Charizard bone armor, and that was this one. So he came out of that, and I actually had a lot of fun drawing this one. I think he turned out pretty cool. And then this led to Jessie the other day. So the Jessie happened. She's got her Arbok and Meowth as she's jumping through the air, about to throw another Pokeball. I don't know if she's catching something, battling, who knows. It was just a lot of fun to do, and I wanted to incorporate certain aspects. And that's going to lead to my sketches for today. So that's her original sketch compared to the final. So that's one of the things that I do a lot is I'll draw things, I'll get ideas, I'll sketch them out. And you can see my ideas happening today are going to be Misty from Pokemon. So, of course, not the 10-year-old version. She's going to be a little bit older because, I want to draw her as a female. And anyway, so some sketches that I came up with, a couple poses. I thought this one's going to be pretty fun. I am not going to lean towards that one. I'm actually going to do something a little bit less action oriented, but I do think this is a cool pose that I might have to revisit later. I like the foreshortening. That was one of the things I've been working on in my art, is trying to figure out like how to make things overlap, how to put things forward, right? Make it more dynamic. So those are the poses that I started with. Kind of did a little sketch of her. Came up with another sketch, of course. Kind of got a pose that I kind of liked. I want to put that Psyduck in because she always is throwing her Pokeball, and it's always like Psyduck pops out for no reason, right? She doesn't actually call him, but he's always around. So Psyduck is going to be hooked to her leg, and she's going to be kind of standing with a Pokeball in hand. Now, this one's a little bit rough. It was just a sketch that I did based on this first one, and it's not quite, anatomy's not quite right. I wanted to be a little, I feel like this part's a little long, so I got to squeeze that, lengthen her legs a little bit. Got to make Psyduck a little bit taller, right? Yeah, he's got to be kind of in that scale too, and he's a little bit taller than her knee in most of the pictures that you see of him. So I'm going to be working on a Misty today. I couldn't decide if I wanted to do grayscale or white paper. I do really like the grayscale paper. However, I think I'm going to lean towards the white paper today. Most of the time I use like a nice card stock. I don't really like, not like printer paper or anything that's kind of too weak. I want it to be able to hold the ink and a bunch of the ink because you're going to put a couple layers down on it. So I want it to be a little bit thicker, a little bit stronger paper. And while I'm doing that, because I'm a card guy, right? I've been collecting a lot of cards recently. Comics, toys, cards, a little bit of everything. But I've been on cards lately, so I'm going to be ripping some Pokemon packs while this is going down. So every 15 minutes or so, I'm going to rip some of these. So I got the cool Charizard tin. This is going to have 4 Pokemon booster packs in here. You're going to see that promo card. You got another knockout collection of Sukuni. I don't know how to say that. So rip that. Two booster packs in here. 2 booster packs in the Raikou set, and then I got one of these. Now, I don't do a whole lot of the Japanese stuff or the foreign stuff, but this one's going to be a fun one to rip too. So this will probably be one of my last packs that I'm going to rip today. But I got one of these mega Pokemon packs. So I did do an order from Mandarake, which is an awesome Japanese website if you haven't ever ordered from it. Figma's, all like my import toys, a lot of them come from there because you can actually get like pre-owned ones that are actually cheaper than buying them from eBay here. And I'll say when I ordered this stuff, I ordered it on like Saturday and it came today, which is Tuesday. So the turnaround time getting it shipped from Japan to America was super fast. It does suck that there was like a little bit higher tariff or fee on it than normal, but besides that, it was still a better deal than if I would have ordered a box of, so I ordered a box of cards, that and another pack that I'll show you later in an upcoming video if you want to check back and check out what I got, because they're actually pretty rad. So I'm going to rip through these, get these packs set up, start sketching. First step is going to be that. There's going to be chapters down below once I get through the video, so if you're catching this later, chapters will be down below for all the different steps. So it'll be pencils first, then I'm going to do some color, then it's going to be the inks finalized. Every 15 minutes or so, I'll probably rip one of these packs. I got about 10 packs, 9 or 10 packs, 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 packs. So about every 15 minutes of this, I will be ripping one of these. I'm just going to open them all just to get them out. This one was kind of damaged. So I was going to put a couple aside too, but I figured why not. I did open one of these 2 packs already, so I already have this promo. Might be a freebie that I give out to somebody eventually. I like to do that, and I like to give out actually sketches every once in a while too. There's been one that's been up on my channel for a little while, unclaimed, so all it is you got to find it in one of the videos that are posted, and it's probably one of the more recent ones. And I'll do a free sketch. So we got some Mega Evolutions, some Phantasmal Flames. Couple of the promos, they are pretty dope. You get the nice hollow on there. It's a nice looking card. Sticker sheet. Twilight Masquerade, Surging Sparks in this pack. So we're getting a little variety of packs. My Charizard tin. So I really liked both of the tins, and you know, they were both at the shop when I was there. They actually had a pretty good price on it for my local card shop. It was one of them that I go to every once in a while. They're a little bit north of Baltimore. It's called Hitman Sports Breaks, but they had 25 bucks on it, and I thought that was pretty close to retail. So you get the nice Mega Charizard YEX, and a code for that card, or a code for a card. So that's another pretty dope promo card to put into the collection. And I think most of these are going to be the Phantasmal Flames and the Mega Evolution and a pack of Journey Together. So I'm getting a nice variety. So since the Phantasmal Flames kind of outnumber everything else, we're going to do it kind of in that order. Dun, dun, dun. Gonna have a little fun with the Japanese pack at the end. I think that one's gonna be kind of cool. I don't know. We'll see. It was a single pack that I bought from Mandarake. I don't know. I've heard, you know, don't buy the like loose Japanese packs from sellers most of the time because they can like scan them or something and find out which ones have hits. And I've seen that video a couple times pop up. Which it sucks because one of the breakers that I actually, not a Whatnot fan at all, I went on there the other day just because I was bored and I was like, oh, so I was like scrolling and I ended up buying a couple things and ended up not hitting the cards, so they sent me packs of Japanese cards, and I don't know, I'm kind of weary about it because that's what I got, but I'm going to open them still, and I'll open them on stream one day as well. See what I hit. Alright, so first step, pencils. Been talking too long, and I'm sorry about that. We're about 10 minutes in. Let's go. Now, when I set up bodies and things, I'm really sketchy. It takes me a little bit of time to like finalize my lines. I work fast. It was one of the things that, you know, depending on who you have as an art teacher, I had quite a few in my time of schooling and everything else, and like gesture drawing, and you had to do these 30-second drawings. 30 seconds, go. And you had to draw whatever the model was doing, and then they would switch every 30 seconds. So I got really used to like real fast sketching and scribbling and then erasing and redrawing it and trying to finalize lines and things like that. So that's kind of how I work. I usually start with just laying out basic shapes. Now I am looking at the sketch that I had, so hopefully I'll get her anatomy a little bit better than it was in that first sketch. Now, one of the things I'll mention and I do a lot of is like equal sign, right? So you got hips and shoulders, right? Equal sign. Now, if you concoct them to a greater than or less than sign, you get more of a dynamic pose. So kind of thinking about how those go and that those two directions kind of can really like make it a little bit more dynamic. So she's kind of got a little bit of a lean, so this hip will be actually going up, right? So it's going to have a little bit of an angle going this direction because she's got more of her weight on that side. So real just basic shapes. I know I've talked about it in previous videos, but I'll cover them again. So you want to think about things not being flat, more in those cylinders, cylinder shapes, or like I start with rectangles and then you got to kind of like do the cross contour lines that go around to like make it feel more like it's a form in that space rather than being a flat shape. And it can be pretty tough, and even I still got to consciously make sure I'm doing things the right way, or trying to wrap, you know, when coals are going around the form too, it's like the direction of the lines can really change things, or when something's overlapping, right? So you got a forearm in front of the back, you got this line here. If you drew the line from the, from the bicep in here by accident, then it's going to look a little bit weird. Like it's going to not be lined up correctly, things like that. So little tip, I don't know if that made sense. I guess without kind of showing it a little bit more. I do want to kind of, maybe she's been wearing this clothes for way too long, so the shirt's a little short. She's got like suspenders. I'm going to kind of wrap around and up. Kind of accentuate those a little bit. Pop them forward. So draw, erase, draw, erase. Lots of times. It'll happen multiple times throughout this whole video. Even when I'm like finalizing my lines, when I'm actually inking and things, I'll still be going over it and erasing some of those pencil lines. Again, just how I work. It's not always the right way. It's just kind of how I set things up. Now with the shoe, so it's kind of a little bit of a, looking down on it. Her leg is kind of going back in space. So I want it to have that contour line that goes around the form. So I want it to like, encompass it and go around it and circle it and actually feel like it's going around. So it's fitting on that foot. Some of it might be overlapping. You might not see all the details on it. She has like a rolled, little bit of a rolled pant leg, or a short leg, short. I don't know. It's kind of rolled up right there. Like everything, it'll come together a little bit. Might take a little time, but I'll try to get it all together here. Just getting a little bit of a weird shadow, trying to adjust that. Might be a little big. Turn it down a little bit. Kind of like the, I don't know. I like those like kind of like the high heely looking ones. I'm trying to change that into that. But still like in that kind of shoe that she'd be wearing. Alright, so OG sketch. I think I kind of fixed some of the anatomy issues I was having with that first round on her. Depending on, and I couldn't decide what I wanted to do with her hand, right? So the other hand, so she's just kind of holding the ball, so her hand's going to be here, you know, while she's holding the Pokeball. The other one was like holding it up, kind of like this, underneath. I couldn't decide. I still don't know which way, so it's like this one's underneath, or it's up here. You know, choices. What makes the composition stronger, though, or what accentuates the areas that you want to accentuate is the question at the end of the day, you know? What's going to help the form? What's going to help that, like, silhouette? What's going to, you know, make it more attractive to the eye? Less distracting, so I'm going to put the arm up, is what I decided. I gotta actually look her up real quick, because I don't know if she's got any kind of, like, watch wrist things. I'm a huge fan of doing those. It breaks down that shape, right? It helps break things down, right? So I'm a fan of like all those things. I know Jessie didn't really have them there. She did have gloves though, so you could kind of play with that and make like a crease there, so you could kind of, you know, still play with that when it's just skin and nothing there. It's just kind of basic. So let me look her up real quick. Where's my phone? Coffee is gone for the day. She does not. So old school, kind of anime styled. She's got a watch there. What is that, a water type? When she got the swim outfit. So she's got a bunch of outfits throughout the games and things too, but I was sticking to like the classic, but it doesn't look like she has many things on her wrist most of the time. Doesn't mean you can't make your own, right? And that's one of the things that I like to do. Put my own spin on things, right? So maybe she gets that. All right. So you can maybe have a watch or something up here. Kind of break up that space. For sure we're just blank yellow, right? Oh, man. I was just looking at it. Yeah, it's just yellow. I don't know what, her neck looked a little long, so I'm going to try to shift her face down. Also, something I like to do is, like, when I erase, I get a little bit of a smudge. What that does, especially because I'm using the white paper, right? I talked about that a minute ago when I was debating gray, scale, or white. So that'll add a little bit more of that gray, and it'll pull out the white when I go in and I add that Uni-Posca, or I'm clearing it up with my eraser, whatever it might be. It'll, like, clear up some of that space, and it adds a little bit of more texture or grit to the paper, and, you know, handmade, right? No AI BS, like, you know, it's made by a human, and I like to have that, like, little touch to it that makes it kind of unique. Let me also see if this is going to work. I feel like my stream has been working all right today. I did try different settings, so hopefully this will play, maybe this will work. Hardwired. Alright, that's what I'm trying today. So I haven't seen it reconnect, and I'm about 30 minutes in. I know I said every 15 I'm going to rip a pack, but I guess it's time to rip a pack. Let's go. Phantasmal Flames. We got a Gengar up one here, right? Is that who that is? I'm pretty sure. I'm going to say that, and I feel like... gotta look at him closer. Zigzagoon. Charmeleon. Honchkrow. Alright, reverse is the Tauros. We got a reverse Bramlin. And a Mega Diancie EX. So a double rare in that pack. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. Take it as a dub for that pack. Alright, back to the pencils. So after I do that one erase, I kind of go back in, and then I'm adding all the details and trying to really, like, tighten things up. These look like jean shorts, so she's going to get some of those. She's got suspenders, so she's not wearing a belt, but still have some belt loops. I don't know. I don't think her actual... I think they looked more like elastic bands at the top of her shorts. They had, like, the lines in it, but... Again, take creative freedom where you want to, right? It's your art. My art, whoever's. I had circle templates somewhere, and I was debating whether I was going to use them real quick. I just don't see them. No worries. Might have to work on him a little bit more. We'll see. Tweak it a little bit. I mean, I'm getting close. I don't know what you guys think about it at home. You know, let me know. Hit me up in those comments. What are you guys thinking? Terrible idea, adulting her, making her more adult. I don't know. I am not the first one to do it, so. Alright, time for a pack of Mega Evolution. My first one of these, I got 2 of these coming up. 3 Phantasmal Flames. And a few solos of a couple other packs. So, pack 2 in this rip. Leading off with a Toxic Croak. My first reverse is Magneton, followed by Abra and Alakazam as my rare. Pretty cool. Second pack. Alright, back to it. So I think now is time for some color. I need to clean up a little bit of it. Especially around her head, her hair. One of the things I don't want is to have pencil really where in her skin tone. Because the alcohol markers will kind of blur it, blend it. They'll combine with it and, you know, spread out the graphite a little bit. And I don't really want that gray tone to affect the skin tone, so I want to make sure it's kind of clean in some of those areas. I'll go over it a little bit with this eraser. Alright, overall I think the pencils are basically done. Her shoes still need to be, you know, one more layer. might as well. About an hour into the 2-hour grind, Phantasmal Flames, pack number 2. Got the awesome Charizard art on the front. Jumbo ice cream. Alright, we got Palmot. It's kind of cute. Ambipom. And Genesect. That's my rare. Alright, on to, I think I'm ready for color. She doesn't have a whole lot. She is those primary colors though, main characters. I don't know if you guys, if you've ever watched any of my character design stuff, a lot of main characters are always those primary colors, and she's kind of those primary colors. You know, red, yellow, blue. She's got red hair, blue shorts, yellow top. So, kind of has that same main character energy. A little bit of green eyes because she's a redhead too. So, all right. Let's start with that. I'm gonna start there. Let's go. Well, I gotta clean up a little bit more, I guess, before I get to that. But pretty much ready. Start with colors. So one of the things I like to do is every single time practice them on the side, right? I want to be like, all right, I want this, want to use that, want to use this. It doesn't always help my flow but I don't want to mess up my final, right? And that's kind of the end game of it, is I want the final to look good. So start with some light blues. That's crazy. What? No way. So as a comic book collector, my buddy just texted me CBCS is closing down next month. What? Permanently closing down. Oh man, come on, don't you do this to me too. Well, some of these are running out on me, but not bad. Alright, I got basically what I wanted to get done. So, a little bit of sky. I didn't need to do the whole sky, it's just a little splash. Kind of like it'll be a sticker, right? Not really, but could be a sticker, right? Just like little pop out. So, on to her. I need those blues for the jeans, I think. Let me double check a picture of her. Let me read about this real quick. So CBCS was bought out by Beckett or whoever owns Beckett, and they're just closing that down and concentrating just on Beckett's stuff. I didn't know Beckett does comics though. Or is it? Did they own PSA as well? I know a couple of those companies were bought out by the same companies. Not that you guys are going to be able to answer me right now, and I'm just talking out loud, but kind of interesting. Alright, so back to Misty. Red shoes, yellow stripe. I did have this blue too. What does this blue do? This is a light one again. Maybe I can get some blending in. Alright, so light source is coming from this side. Hitting her on that side. So I'm going to go light on her, very light on her pants. And I feel like the jeans, when they're rolled up, aren't they usually lighter underneath? Come on, phone. Yeah. They got the very light part right here. Okay, yeah, that's what it is. So PSA is basically taking over CBCS. They're going to shut it down. 228 Mega Evolution. Let's go. Alright, Risky Ruins, Jinx, and Hariyama as my rare. Nothing too big yet. Still sitting on, let's see, we got 5 more packs to go. So by the time I'm done, the line work. Yeah, line work on top of the color. So color, continue to color. Then I'm going to get that line work, and that'll be it. I really do like these markers. I don't know if any of you guys have ever tried these. Oahu. They're actually pretty rad, and they're super inexpensive, and they do a super nice job blending, and I only used one, right? Like, I wasn't using multiple different ones, but you can go down, put it a little bit light, using like the chisel brush. You can just barely let it touch, and it goes down lightly, and then you can go over top of it, press it a little bit more, you know, absorbs a little bit more of the ink or the pigment, and, you know, I think it works. I think they work pretty awesome. So, keep that in mind. Not a paid advertisement or anything, because I don't get paid for that shit, but I dig the markers themselves. Might need it for Psyduck's little nose, too. Let me see. Dun, 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 dun. Where's one with you and... None with you and Psyduck anywhere, huh? There you go. So he's got the light, probably the eggnog yellow. I'm gonna roll with that for his beak. I think he's got this kind of Spanish orangey to him. Might be too pigmented, I don't know. Too orange, not enough yellow. I will try to layer it a little bit with some yellow. I know it's all, you know, you can't really go, you can always go darker, you can't go lighter. Makes it a little tough, so I jumped the gun a little bit. This probably should have been shadows, not full body. Little too dark. See if I can go over it with a little bit of yellow and even it out some. let's go to some Surge and Sparks before I continue. So her shirt is next, but might as well rip another one. So Scarlet Violet, Surge and Sparks. Some awesome hits in all these sets. Let's see if I get any of them today. Haven't really hit any of the big ones yet, so I'm due. It's due. Let's go. Alright. Art is awesome on some of these too. That one's pretty dope. Zangoose. Alright, so my first of the reverse is Heliopeptile. We got a Bronzor. And Tapu Koko is my rare. Pretty cool. So still building the set too, as I do for all these sets. I mean, they're all kind of new to me, so kind of awesome. So she got the red shoes, red suspenders, orangish red hair. So we'll try to get that real quick. I think that's actually pretty close. It's a little too brown. Too tan. That one's too dark. Yeah, it could be the shadows though, maybe. Let me try this one first. I'm going to lean towards these two. mean, Misty's coming to life a little bit. I don't know. You guys gotta let me know what you guys think. Good, bad, for the best, for the worst. What is it? Oh, cool gray one for some shoes. Little shadows in the white. Now her yellow top, I think, is about all that's left before the line work. A little bit of gold, so I gotta figure that out too. It's like a gold color. These are the yellows. Let's see. This is the 15. That's the little darker one. Alright, I'm gonna do these for her shirt. She's got green eyes. See if I can pull these off real quick. I think she has green eyes. Might not be. Let me see. Misty, Pokemon eye color. second guessing it. Looks green to me. And I think her hair tie is actually blue. Is that correct? Did I just see that? Yeah, blue. It's like a kind of a navy or blue, so I might go with this dark blue for that. Give it a little texture. So like hair ties are elastic bands, so they have those little lines through them most of the time, not always. So I just a couple little touches, make a little, like I said, give it a little texture in there. So far, Misty and Psyduck, just getting close. Gave her the watch. Not sure what color. I could probably link some of the other colors in. Maybe that blue actually would probably be a good one to link over. And I guess she really just needs some line work. Yellow in the shoes. Forgot about the yellow in the shoes. Let me get that real quick. Another layer of the cool gray on the shoes. I'm just doing really light because her shoes are white. They have the white, so it's just the cool gray one is the only one I'm using kind of for the shadows. Try to blend a little bit of what was there from the first layer. And I think pretty much ready for some line work. Now, one of the things I do like about, using normal grayscale, like pencil, graphite pencil, and not the blue that I've used before, is being able to erase. And sometimes you can actually erase it even though you put the marker down on top. Sometimes you get a little bit of the marker that comes up too, but, depending on the area, it might not really bother it too much. So I want to lighten some of this. Get rid of those pencil lines. Try to get this to be white over here a little bit more. Misty, from today's 2-hour grind, almost there. I'm 2 hours in. I still got line work to do. I'm not done yet. I'm gonna rip a couple more packs with this though. I got 4 more packs to rip. I mean, come on, let's go. And then I'm gonna make another drink. Take a minute to do that, and I'll be back in a flash. We're gonna wrap this thing up though here today with some line work, and that's the next step. Be right back. Alright, I'm up for line work now. Might as well rip one of these. This probably won't be a full hour, so Twilight Masquerade, the next pack up. I love the mask on the front. It's kind of like that. I forgot his name though. I had a box set of that. It's a cool looking one. Cool looking card though. Volbeat, followed by Glaceon, and there it is. Teal Mask Ogerpon EX. So that was the one that I was just, saying it's kind of a cool mask. It's right on the front. So I know they have the box set of all of them though, but that one's pretty cool. All right, on to the next one. Linework. Let's go. I've talked about this before. I'll talk about it every single video. Sorry if you guys heard it before, but I kind of, just in case you're new. I like to do a kind of Art Nouveau type of line work, thick outline. You can see it in, I've talked about it, Adam Hughes, Alphonse Mucha, right, is the first from Art Nouveau. And then, like, Adam Hughes kind of does it. Sometimes Frank Cho does it. Sometimes, Lobos, newer artist that's been on my radar. Some of those other comic guys that all do it too. And it's like that thicker outline for the silhouette of the shape, for the whole body. And then as you go in, you kind of get like the finer details, the finer, thinner lines. That's, again, just kind of how I work. There's no right or wrong, do it however you feel comfortable. I like these Tombow. They're kind of cool. They work nicely. That's what I'll start with. That hopefully thick black outline. my last pack of the Phantasmal Flames as I'm getting closer and closer to finishing this up. Darniton, it's my first reverse. Mimikyu, awesome, as my second, and followed by a Polmot as my rare. Is that the one I already hit though? Did I already hit the Polmot? As my rare today, that would be lame. Hitting the same ones. Feel like that happened in my last video too. Alright, last two packs will happen as I go through it, so I got a Journey Together and that Mega Dream pack. Got her shoes, Psyduck, and her face still. I'm gonna switch to a smaller pen to do the details on those. raise the mouth up a tiny bit. That second curve did not do what it was supposed to. pack a journey together. We're gonna then do the last 2 seconds of Uni-Posca, and we're gonna move on and rip that Mega Dream Pack. Alright, so we got Postwick, Stadium, Wingull, and Veluza EX as my last out of the regular packs. Last couple things I want to do, just a couple highlights with the white Uni-Posca. Alright, I think that's going to do it for today's 2-hour grind. Not really. But for the drawing portion, yes. Alright. So 2 hours, 45 minutes total. It's ran a little long. Misty, OG Pokemon trainer in my style. Ridiculous little Psyduck hanging out. Alright, and 1 Mega Dream Pack, 10 cards, Japanese. I won't be able to tell you exactly what they say probably, but I might recognize some of the characters, maybe not all of them. Let me see if I can open this from down here without ruining it. Not gonna happen. Alright, we're just going to do it with some scissors at the bottom. I'm not going to buy any more of these packs, so I always like to keep like one of each booster pack or like the wrappers, you know, so try to slide all the cards away. I just saw that video, I'm sure some of you guys have, of that kid that opened his Yu-Gi-Oh card and chopped one of the cards. Oof, that had to suck. Alright, so let's check these out. So a Japanese, you get in 10 packs. I like it. Finishing up with a Psyduck, right? There he is. I mean, my colors actually turned out pretty alright. You know, matched them alright. Pretty dope. Alright, and on to a couple of the cool ones. I, again, don't speak Japanese, so I might not be able to tell you who they all are. I don't recognize all, you know, there's over 1,000 different Pokemon now. That one's pretty cool. EX. I think that'll probably do it. Cool crystal. Alright, and we got a little trainer at the end. It's like a dragonfly. I don't know what his name is. Almost wanted to call it a Caterpie, but it's definitely an evolution from some other flying. But these are cool packs. So you get, you know, quite a few of the, I guess, reverse hollow. No, they're just hollows. Not really reverse at all. Pretty dope. Alright. So that's going to wrap it up. 2-hour grind became 3-hour grind. Lots of fun ripping packs. Ripped 10 packs, 9 packs, something like that. Of Pokemon while drawing. I think that's like kind of been kind of fun for me. So that's been like my new thing to do. And I'll probably continue that trend a little bit when I do like Pokemon art or other art that's based on some of those card games. So, Misty from Pokemon, chilling with Psyduck. Thanks for checking this out. If you want to see more of my art grinds, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Click that button right down below. And if you like this, please click that like button next to it. Much, much appreciated, ladies and gentlemen. I do appreciate all the watches. Thank you guys so much for watching and checking this out. Remember, if you have any questions about any of the techniques that I use, please ask in the comments right down below. Let me know what you think, and you might be able to find her up on eBay here shortly. I'm going to throw her up probably with a couple of the other ones that have been sitting around. Thank you again for watching. I'm Nate. This was the 2-hour grind, and I'll catch you on the next grind.